I'm going to make a guide today talking about how to get Kirby's Epic Yarn running on your computer. I know there's a lot of people that have no idea how to emulate games, have never tried it, especially for Wii games before, and just kind of want to start playing Kirby's Epic Yarn because, you know, like me, played the game when they were a kid, loved the game, and just want to hop into it again and have an easy time to hop into it without having to set up their Wii, or maybe they don't have a Wii anymore, or whatever. To do this, we're going to go through a few steps: installing Dolphin emulator, getting Kirby's Epic Yarn running, configuring the controls, and you'll be ready, set after the end of this video, to immediately start playing the game. What you'll need is, if you want a Wii remote, an actual Wii remote, you can connect this to your computer really easily. Don't need to buy anything, just a Wii remote with batteries, or a controller. You can just wire a controller so that it maps to a bunch of things on the Wii. This one also I think has motion controls, so like if you really want motion controls, you could try mapping that too. We won't be talking about that in this video because Kirby's Epic Yarn doesn't use that. The only other thing you might want to have is an IR motion bar. You know, the thing you would put at the top of the TV or below the TV or wherever, so that, you know, you could detect the Wii remote's position. The only issue is that you might have to buy one because it has to plug into the PC, right? It doesn't have to plug into the PC. You just need something that shines two IR lights, and that's kind of a niche enough thing to where you either need to make it yourself, not gonna be that easy, you know, if you're just a beginner, or buy one online. Kind of lazy, maybe you don't want to wait for that to happen, or just don't want to spend the money. However, Kirby's Epic Yarn doesn't actually require that much, so there's like 1 or 2 levels, right, that use the IR motion sensor, or like at all. So you can go without it. Personally, I would say stick to the controller for those 2 or like 1 or 2 levels, because you can actually map, you know, the IR, like the tracking, to one of the joysticks here and get on with it. And then just play the rest of the game with the Wii remote. You know, it's a great experience. Those 2 levels they kind of suck anyway. So anyway, let's get into it. Okay, so first you want to download 7-Zip. 7-Zip is very important. It's a great piece of software. You use it all the time. I use it all the time. If you have WinRAR, you can use that too. Just get 7-Zip. It's great. Everyone uses 7-Zip. It's amazing. Next, we want to download Dolphin emulator. This is the emulator where you can emulate GameCube or Wii games. Everyone uses this. This is like the emulator, you know. Don't download the stable version. I would say also don't download the development version. Stable versions are just not recommended by them. They literally tell you beta or development versions are better choice for all users. So either of these should be fine. Personally, don't go with the development versions. I'm going to tell you it's probably better not to go on the development branch from personal experience coding. I would recommend just going with something that's like the beta versions, the 2 weeks ago, or if you're really paranoid about it, do the ones that are like 3 months or something. Those usually have like all the patches and they're fine. But first, before you do that, you gotta download the Microsoft Visual C++ for distributable latest. Yeah, anyway, you gotta download this thing. Very easy. You can either download for ARM64, x86, or x64. If you're on Windows, download the x64 one. If you're on Windows and your computer is like, I don't even know how old, like 10 years old, check if it's a 32-bit system. I don't even think 10 years old is it. Anyway, we don't have to get into this too much. Just download the x64 one. But if you're really paranoid about it and you're like, I don't x86. If your computer is like was made in the last 10 years, you're fine. To get the x64 one, it's gonna be way better. But both works if you have x64. Anyway, once you have that installed, go through the whole setup. I've already gotten it done. If you've played like other games, you've probably had to install this by yourself. I know Steam already automatically installs it for some games too. It's just it's very common. Next thing, download. Just like before, get the x86, x64 one. They probably offer some sort of x86 instead of x64 one. If you really need that, you don't. I shouldn't be bringing it up. You don't. So I've downloaded this one. I'm going to just open that tab. Here it is. And then you first need to unzip this. And to do that, you right click, go to 7-Zip. Just do extract here or extract to. Either one thing is fine. I'm just going to say extract here because it's not a big deal. Then we have Dolphin x64. Open it. And then just open dolphin.exe. And then you've got Dolphin up and running. It's going to ask you, do you authorize Dolphin to report information to Dolphin's developers? I think it's okay if you say yes. Personally, I just don't like stuff running in the background, and this could just be one of those things that's like running in the background. I like to say no. That's just me, man. That's just me. Anyways, the next step is getting the game. So now you gotta download the game. I can't show you how to do that. It's not legal to distribute ROMs of games. It is legal to download them, though. Can't legally punish the consumer. That being said, I don't want to show you where any of these sites that you can get them are, from. But, I do own the game, so I feel like not much of an issue if you do that. If you do also own the game, probably not that much of an issue. Even if you don't, also not an issue. I don't think Nintendo actually distributes it right now. They used to on the DS and the Wii U, but those are now discontinued, so that doesn't happen. Anyway, once you have your game installed from wherever that may be, go and navigate to the folder where you have the files. I just put it in the same place as where I put the other stuff. Open it, and there you go. There is Kirby's Epic Yarn running. I don't know if this is actually gonna... Oh yeah, there you go. There's an issue, and you can probably tell. The game's not progressing because there's no controller connected. It's just stuck here. So, you got a pair controller. And this is where you have two options, right? Wii Remote or Xbox-based controller. We're going to start with Wii Remote because I assume you have a Wii Remote lying around. It's fun to play with the Wii Remote, right? So we're going to start with this, but later in the video, I'm going to cover this because, for playing Kirby's Epic Yarn, you don't have an IR sensor. You're gonna need this eventually, unless you have two candles lying around. I don't want to get into that, but if you have two candles lying around, you can do that too. Okay, so to pair the controller, what you want to do is you want to open Control Panel, then you want to go to Hardware and Sound, then you want to go to Devices and Printers. Now, don't actually click Devices and Printers. Go to the path, do /Devices and Printers. If you're on Windows 11 or later versions of Windows 10, you have to do this. It won't work otherwise. I'm not going to show you guys what is on the screen. Anyway, so after you hit Enter, like I'm about to do, then there will be a Add Device button at the top. Click that, then you're going to come over here and then press 1 and 2 on your controller at the same time. You're going to see something that looks like Input Device. This doesn't always work. This process really sucks, by the way. Hit Next. Don't stop hitting that button. If it ever stops, you've messed up. You gotta retry. It's gonna give you to this password screen. Hit Next again. You're not going to, there's no password. That's gonna take a bit. It should be kind of fast for me because I've already done this, hopefully. And then now it should be connected. Next, what you want to do is you want to go over here to Dolphin, open the controllers, and you want to set this to real Wii Remote. I've already set it to that because I've been trying this a few times. And normally it shouldn't be on this one, but it is what it is. I'm going to hit refresh. That doesn't always work. But I don't know if you heard that, but the Wii Remote did a rumble, and then now it's connected. It's player 1. You can do this with any number of Wii Remotes. I have not tried more than one. I don't recommend doing more than one. It's not very fun. Hit close and then start up the game. Immediately, you'll just launch to the game. I press 2, hit 2, and then I'm in. Playing the game, Kirby's Epic Yarn. Just like that. Works great. If you want to repair this controller, you might have to do the same process again. Or not, you can get lucky. Honestly, this process is really bad. It's a miracle that the Wii Remote can even connect to a computer without requiring some sort of third-party software. New file. That works great. Now this works. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. I'm just going to get to the point where you can actually move around, show you what it looks like. Okay, there we go. There you go, and now you're playing. And it's pretty responsive. There's no latency or whatever. It works great. It's the game you expect, right? It's Kirby's Epic Yarn. It's the game. It's great. Okay. But what if you don't want to play with Wii Remote? And also because you have to for certain levels in the game. Well, there's an answer to that. Okay, so let's say you have a controller. You want to map the buttons to it. Make sure it's already connected. Make sure you have an Xbox controller. Make sure that's all going, working fine. You can also use probably a Switch or PS4 controller if you really want to, but you have to look up guides to do that. And this video is not going to talk about that. Go to controllers instead of you can see I've played with it a bit. I've actually already set the controls to this one, but I'll go through it one at a time to show you how to configure it yourself. Hit configure. Over here under buttons. So one at a time, go through and click through it, and then click the button you want to press. Make sure the device up here is Xinput O/gamepad. So for A, button A on your Wii remote, that button, it'll be, I set it to this over here, the left one. For B, I press the top one. For 1, I press the bottom one. And for 2, I press the right one. For minus and plus, I have a select and a start button here, so I just said, this is the select button, and then this is the start button. And then for home, if your controller has another button to it, for example, Xbox, controllers will have that center button, or sometimes they'll have extra button. I would recommend binding that to home. You can also bind it to one of the triggers here, because we're not using those buttons in a Wii remote. I bound it to this one over here, which is an extra button that my controller has called guide. For the D-pad, you have to be very careful. By default, a Wii remote is vertical, so you have to treat the D-pad like it's vertical. Otherwise, everything's going to be, all your controls are going to be rotated 90 degrees. You don't want that. So when inputting up, down, left, right, all that stuff, input it like this. Okay, so I'll do it right here. Up, it's that. For down, it's that. For left, it's that. For right, it's that. That's all of the regular buttons there. Now we have to go to motion simulation if we want the pointer to work. What you want here is to calibrate up, down, left, and right for points. If your controller has 2 joysticks, which it should, like this one has, bind it to one of these 2. I bound it to the right one, and I'll show you how to do that. Just one at a time, hit the direction you want to bind. For example, here it says up. This time you don't have to rotate it, it's fine. I hit up, and I pressed up on the joystick, and then it says right, Y positive. Down, right, Y negative. Left, right, X negative. Right, right, X positive. And then now you can see this dot up here when I move the joystick, it also moves there. And then after that, don't have to hit save, don't have to hit anything. You can try to save a profile, but if you're not going to use more than one controller, you don't have to. You can also change a bunch of settings if you want here. For example, there's shake, there's tilt, there's swing. There's some other motion controls that are more complicated, like a gyroscope. That's insane. Some other stuff you can do too. We're not going to get into that because Kirby's Epic Yarn doesn't need any of that. Instead, what we're going to do is we're going to hit close. That close again. And then we're going to hit play to play Kirby's Epic Yarn. It's going to open up, and you're going to quickly see that it works completely fine. So, I'm just going to press, for me, this is the 2 button. And then this would be 1, so 1, 2, 1, 2. I can press OK to play, and then it should load in, and then I should be able to play just normally. Kirby's Epic Yarn. Works great. Okay, but what about the cursor? How do you know that that's worked? Well, the reason why I wanted you to set the home button is just to test this feature. Press the home button. For me, it's this. It opens the home button. And now the cursor will be in the center of the screen. As you saw just there, by moving the joystick, it'll move the cursor around the screen. Now, this isn't ideal. You could probably look up a guide online to have a better joystick system. This will work for those 2 levels that I don't like, and I don't think many other people really remember that fondly. I don't think the Wii menu will work. If you do that right, it'll probably just not do anything. But, it works. It works great, and for someone who doesn't have an IR sensor, this works better, I would say. Yeah, I think, now it's not doing anything, because it's not an actual Wii. It's an emulator for the Wii. With all of that, you can now play Kirby's Epic Yarn. You can also get other games onto here and play them, though these controls were pretty much designed only for Kirby's Epic Yarn. If you have a Wii remote that in a game that doesn't really require you to point that much, you can get by with just the Wii remote. And this works immediately. You don't have to configure anything, so it's great. This you gotta do a bit more configuring, but you won't have to hassle with setting up Bluetooth with the Wii remote. Okay, it's me again. Day after. I looked at some stuff and I realized I was wrong about some things. Specifically, I found out that you can actually connect the Wii remote, and if you have Wii Motion Plus, you can use it as an IR scanner. It works, I would say, even better than having an actual IR scanner. So let's get to that. So here, I've gone to the controller settings. A few other things I want to add. I've now realized it's actually a lot easier to connect than I thought. For example, if I'm to change my remote, it's on right now. Oh, okay, it's off right now, sorry. And let's say I want to reconnect it again. What I've been doing is I've been pressing 1 and 2 and then pressing refresh here on the controller settings. And then eventually, yep, it connects. Just like that. Pretty great. I don't even have to do anything with the Bluetooth settings. That works great. So I've seen some people turn on continuous scanning. We'll just do that. Next thing, you want to enable Connect Wii Remotes for emulated controllers. So right now, this is Wii Remote 1 under Real Wii Remote. Instead, go under Emulated Wii Remotes. Go to Configure. Go to Bluetooth 0 Wii Remote. Go to Profile and Wii Remote Stock. Then press Load. This is already loaded here, but if it wasn't loaded, it would change everything. Now, what you want to do is you want to go to Motion Input. And you can now see there's a lot of things showing up, right? The stuff that I thought that was a bit too complicated actually is already built into here. There's a gyroscope and an accelerometer. That's cool, but what you want to do is you want to go over to Point, you want to click Enable. You want to make sure this is enabled. This should be enabled by default, but if it's not, yeah, just check. Now that's done, press close, open the game again. Okay, now we're in a screen where we can press the home button. And as you can see, this works great. I am not using an IR scanner at all. This is just me and my controller. The way you know it's not using an IR scanner is I can turn it around and it can still work because it's just using the motion from the remote. If you don't have Wii Motion Plus, tough luck. Use the old method. But if you have, I think also you can do it if you have one of those like bricks that you put on, but I don't know if that works entirely. Anyways, I just wanted to add that before I get going. Hopefully you can use this now to play Kirby's Epic Yarn without needing to ever change the controller. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. If you liked the video, like, comment, subscribe, or don't. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.